Hello FlossTube, welcome to my channel, Oh My Ada. My name is Shelly and today I thought I would do a stitch along. On March 1st there is a new hashtag, Stitch Asia, and so I wanted to do a stitch along, but I also figured I could start with the pattern that I bought recently. This is from CrossStitchStlyeArte, and I apologize for the glare. I bought the bottom of the two, and it's red tree, and I can show you. I think it's on sale right now for $4, so that seems to be a really good price. I've never stitched a pattern similar to this, so I am looking forward to it. What you can see in front of you is my fabric, and I've chose 18 count Huckleberry by Picture This Plus. It is a small piece. I won it in a Friday night fight night, and this time it was an extra, because whenever you buy something from Be Stitch Me, if you put your name down for what you would like, Brandy does a drawing each week, and because I purchased something on the fight night, I did win a little something extra, which was very nice, and I thought it would be perfect for this this pattern. It is purplish, and because a lot of the stitching is blues and grays for the background, I really think the colors will pop. So as I stitch today, what I would like to do with you is get to know your needleworker. And the first question asks, where do you live? So I was born in California in San Jose, and well, actually I was born in Bakersfield, and I still live. My family moved to San Jose before I turned 2, and I've lived here ever since. It is Silicon Valley. It's very expensive to live here. I was lucky that when I bought my condo, San Jose was offering interest-free loans to teachers. And so I feel really lucky that I was able to get that loan to buy a house. But what that means is I have to buy the house in San Jose. So I've lived in my house 20 years, and along with that, my loan has the loan from the city. I haven't had to pay for any of that. So why? That goes into number 2. What do you do for a living? And I am a teacher. So the loan was specific to teachers. And if we wanted to live in, or if we lived in San Jose and worked in San Jose, we would get an interest-free loan for 30 years. That isn't the entirety of the loan, of course. What I was given at the time, I was given $40,000, and that paid for my down payment. I moved into the condo, and I still teach at the same school I started at in 1996. So I have been around for quite a while. In fact, in September, I celebrated my 50th birthday. And I do love teaching. My school is still, we're still doing distance learning. And that's a bit difficult because I want to be with the students. With that, though, luckily now I was able to get my shot. So I had my first vaccine, the Pfizer. Make sure I'm in picture. Great. It was the Pfizer shot, and I go back on March 16th to get my second shot. We being teachers, we weren't supposed to get shots until we weren't supposed to get shots until March 1st, but one of the churches in my neighborhood opened up a mobile clinic, and I was able to go there, and they canceled my appointment for tomorrow, which was March 1st. The reason I did that instead of waiting is because I get infusions, and I know many of you on FlossTube and many of you cross-stitchers have autoimmune diseases. And unfortunately, I do as well. And so that being said, I do need to make sure the shot is balanced between my infusions, because the infusions kill white blood cells in the body because my body overproduces them. And I go back every 7 weeks for that shot. All right. As you can see, I'm not really stable while I'm stitching with you. My hand's a little shaky. I keep my dominant hand underneath, and I use my left hand, which is non-dominant, on top, so that I can give that hand special attention. Perfect. Okay, so the next question is, do you have a pet? I do not have a pet, unfortunately. I've always had a dog, and my last dog was Nutmeg. She was a beautiful girl. She lived with me for 14 years, and I've been without her for probably 3 years. She became old, and which doesn't mean I wanted to throw her away. Absolutely not. But what that meant was, of course, she had problems in her old age. Unfortunately, her legs kept giving out, and so I did have to put her down. It was the most difficult decision I've had to make. I mean, I'm lucky, but that I haven't had to make worse decisions for a human. But pets do become part of our life. What I realized afterwards was that I felt good about being able to make that decision, and it actually let her die peacefully instead of living in pain and misery for more years. All right, so let me see what the next question is. I do not have any children, so if you watched my last FlossTube, I was a little sad because it was right after Valentine's Day, and I was talking about just missing out on marriage and children. And I know you don't have to be married to have children, but I don't really date, and I didn't feel like purchasing sperm and having a donor and doing all of that, because while it's possible to do that, I know that it would have been difficult to raise someone on a single woman's salary in San Jose. At this point, I would be able to, but I'm 50 years old. I live in a one-bedroom condo. I should be grateful for that, and I am. I know some of my students have written stories where they live in a 400-foot garage with their family. And it does make me realize that I'm blessed and able to do that and own. Now, with California laws, I'm going to be able to sell my condo when I turn 55, and I'll be able to keep the tax bracket that I live in. And that right now would put me out of the running for a new house. What other hobbies do I have besides cross stitch? All right, so I picked up sewing. I really like making project bags. And I've also picked up jewelry making. I used to do seed beading quite a bit. I do like to hike. I haven't done that in a while, but with coronavirus, I've gained so much weight that I need to start taking time to better take care of myself so that I can lose the weight and feel better. I don't mind being overweight. What I mind is the way I feel. And right now, I don't feel healthy. So for me, I need to start making time to exercise. And I haven't done that since March of last year. My last day of work in 2020, my last day of work at the school site, my last day of work was March 13th, and it was a Friday. We are not back yet, and I have a feeling we won't be back for this school year. It's tough. I know the kids are getting tired of distance learning. I had difficulty with distance learning early in the year in October. FlossTube and the friendships I've made through FlossTube have really helped me keep going, and I'm trying to get into a hole. There it goes. The friendships I've made through FlossTube and cross-stitching, they mean everything to me. And so thank you so much for stopping by and taking the time to watch this and learn a little bit more about who I am. Depending on how this stitch along turns out, I will plan to have more in the future. Tomorrow being March 1st, I'll be able to switch my projects for WIPGO. And I have Joyful Teddy coming up. And I also have a cross stitch that I haven't enjoyed by Carolyn Manning. And if you watch my regular FlossTube, you'll be able to see those. You'll be able to see those projects. My favorite movie. It's hard to say favorites. I have a genre I love, and I love horror, but I also love like romance and heartfelt movies, Lifetime Movie Network. I like all the Christmas movies. So there really is a dichotomy between all the different shows. If I'm watching TV, I like crime shows such as NCIS, CSI when it was on. I loved The Big Bang Theory. I can't think of a lot of them right now, but I didn't check at the questions before. Oh, so it was movie. What movie do I like? I'm going to say my favorite movie is Much Ado About Nothing. And it's a movie with Denzel Washington playing the prince. And a somewhat, well, it's not even updated. I was going to say updated, but when I think updated, I think more of the Leonardo DiCaprio version of Romeo and Juliet. They just have an updated cast. And I have to tell you, watching any Shakespeare that Kenneth Branagh does, I really like it. He does a really good job. And his ex-wife, Emma Thompson, she is really talented too. So my favorite movie, Much Ado About Nothing. Now, I know later on it says favorite book. And I could, oh, how funny, it says favorite movie, favorite TV show, favorite book, favorite music. So I'm kind of winding them all into one, as you can hear. So I don't have that favorite movie, as you know, because, that favorite TV, as you know. So I'm going to stick with the genres of the whodunits, the mysteries, solving who killed whom. I do like that. All right, let me get in the hole. Perfect. Favorite music. I would say I like music from the 70s and 80s. I like what I grew up listening to was oldies, but oldies are more 40s and 50s. I love beach music, the Beach Boys, but I also really loved country music. But that was back with Garth Brooks and Alan Jackson, and I really enjoyed that. Today, if I'm going to listen to music, it's a different type of oldies, and I really like the 1980s channels on my radio station. All right. Let's see. My favorite book goes with my favorite movie. And so I do love Shakespeare. Romeo and Juliet is not my favorite play, but I don't hate it like I used to. My favorite Shakespeare play is Much Ado About Nothing. It's a comedy of errors, and I don't know that I would marry the person at the end after he accused me of cheating in front of everyone, but it's a happy little romp. And Emma Thompson falls in love as well, or her character. So that's what I like. As for books, I do listen to books on tape. I'm right now listening to The Secret Garden because Michelle Bindi and I are working on Secret Garden 2, Sal. We started it over because we never finished, or actually neither of us started it the first time. And so I am listening to that. I have quite a few audiobooks from a website that I get to listen to for free, being a teacher, and it has the classics on it as well. My next book will be Little Women. But if I'm going to pick up a book and read, a lot of times it'll be a murder mystery, a whodunit, or it'll be romance. Because although I've never fallen in love, I don't believe, and I don't believe I have a soulmate. I like when fiction wraps everything up in a nice little bowl, a nice little bow, and people are happy for now. All right. One word that best describes you, I'm eclectic. I like a lot of everything, and with that, it's hard to pin me down. All right. So I'd like to ask you, Are you going to hashtag Stitch Asia? And if you are, I would love to know which pattern you're using. Remember, every stitch is one stitch closer to an FFO. And with that, I'm going to say good night and happy March.